The gut-stirring roar, the sleek, glistening knife-like body, the speed of a bolt of lightning. For nearly a century, Lamborghini has stood as an icon for power, status, and pure coolness with their finely tuned supercars. But there was a time when the Lamborghini name nearly disappeared altogether. With the tenacity of a fighting bull, this company broke itself away from its humble farm tractor beginnings to earn its place as one of the most iconic car manufacturers of all time. Strap in. This is the story of the rise of Lamborghini. Ferruccio Lamborghini was born April 28, 1916, a Taurus, the sign of the bull, an early hint at his future endeavors. However, long before blisteringly fast cars became his reality, Lamborghini grew up in a vineyard in northern Italy. While winemaking and farm work surrounded him in his youth, his thirst was not for the wine itself, but for the mechanics. Often the young Lamborghini would be found tinkering with the tractors and other farm machines. As a young man, he attended the Fratelli d'Italia Technical Institute, where he dove further into his love for mechanics. In 1940, he was drafted into the Italian Royal Air Force, where he rapidly worked his way up the ranks, even becoming supervisor of vehicle maintenance. Before the war's conclusion, Lamborghini was captured as a prisoner of war, and though the war ended in 1945, he wouldn't return home until some time later. Even at this young age, Lamborghini displayed a strong will, an intricate mind for design, and a fighting spirit. Following the war, Lamborghini went back to what he knew and loved, opening a garage in Pieve de Cento, where he engineered top-of-the-line tractors utilizing parts from old military vehicles. To help offset the high cost of petrol, which was prohibitively priced in Italy at that time, Lamborghini developed an innovative fuel atomizer by augmenting the Morris engine in his tractors to only require petrol on startup, then switch over to diesel to run. In 1948, Lamborghini Trattori was born. While the young engineer typically applied his mechanical mind to his more grounded tractor business, he also fostered a love of things that went fast. When he wasn't working on tractors, he worked on transforming an old Fiat Topolino town car into a ferocious 750cc speed demon, which he would enter into the 1948 Mille Miglia, an open-road endurance race. His trip came to a rapid halt, though, when he ran headlong into the side of a small restaurant. A booming business meant the young entrepreneur could invest in his true passion, fast and expensive cars. From Alfa Romeos to Lancias to Mercedes-Benz 300 SLs, a Jaguar E-Type, and two Maserati 3500 GTs, the young Lamborghini owned enough cars to drive a different one every day of the week. As he collected, drove, and tinkered with more cars, Lamborghini began to grow dissatisfied. Though he had a great deal of respect for legendary manufacturers like Enzo Ferrari and Adolfo Orsi, an owner of Maserati, he found their cars heavy, slow, noisy, and rough, better suited for the racetrack than the open road. The impetus-filled creator even brought his idea for an improved clutch system, which he designed to Ferrari himself, only to be dismissed. Who would have thought that world-famous Italian car designers would be lacking in humility? Dissatisfied with the available touring cars around him, Lamborghini took the bold venture to design cars himself. He knew he had the skills and the gall to create high-performance roadsters that could fill in the gaps left by the likes of Ferrari, namely better traction, ride quality, and interior design. Lamborghini also knew he would triple his profits by utilizing his tractor parts in exotic cars. In selecting his design team, Ferruccio began at the top, commissioning engineering firm Società Autostar, led by Giotto Bizzarini, formerly a Ferrari's Gang of Five. Bizzarini had been behind the renowned Ferrari 250 GTO, but eventually left the company in 1961. Bizzarini was the man behind the now legendary Lamborghini V12, a beast of an engine. Lamborghini, however, was unhappy with the initial design as its characteristics were too familiar to racing engines, the exact thing he wanted to avoid. Once again, that classic Italian humility came around, with Bizzarini refusing to alter his design and Lamborghini in response refusing to pay the agreed-upon fee. Eventually, the courts made the decision and Bizzarini won, and his engine would be featured in nearly every Lamborghini design up until 2010. Unfortunately, disagreements with Bizzarini wouldn't end here. In October 1963, the Lamborghini 350 GTV was unveiled at the Turin Motor Show. However, because Lamborghini and Bizzarrini couldn't get along, the car had no engine in it. Instead, Lamborghini filled the engine bay with bricks and forbade anyone from opening the hood. Still, the flashy Sportster received a warm response. One key element of Lamborghini's identity, both personally and professionally, was bullfighting. Just before launching his business in 1963, Lamborghini visited the Seville Ranch, home of renowned Spanish bullfighting bull breeder Don Eduardo Muria. So impressed by the raging beast, Lamborghini decided the bull would be the emblem of his vehicle empire. In fact, many of Lamborghini's most famous vehicles would be named after famous fighting bulls. Islero, named after the bull who killed famed torero Manolete in 1947. Espada, the Spanish word for sword, and can also mean bullfighters themselves. Even the famed Diablo, decades later, was inspired by a ferocious bull raised by the Duke of Veragua in the 19th century, famous for fighting an epic battle with El Chicorro in Madrid on July 11, 1869. With the ferocious spirit of an enraged bull, Lamborghini conquered the 1960s with their powerful yet road-friendly exotic cars. But by the 1970s, that success, like Lamborghini's first race, would come to a slamming halt. Throughout the 70s, Lamborghini suffered hit after hit, like spears into the side of a fighting bull. Political violence in South Africa and Bolivia halted huge chunks of global exports. Then things took a nosedive with the 1973 global oil crisis. Luxury cars weren't in demand. By the mid-70s, the car business had lost its luster for Lamborghini. Over the decade, he sold off bits of his company, with most of it going to a wealthy Swiss businessman and long-term friend named Georges-Henri Rossetti. By 1974, Lamborghini relinquished all control of his famed iconic luxury car brand and retired on his estate in Lake Trasimeno in central Italy. The following decades would see the company continue to rock up and down like a turbulent bull ride. In 1977, the company tried its hand at a prototype military vehicle, the Cheetah, which was a disaster. A year later, the company went bankrupt, eventually ending up in the hands of two Swiss brothers, Jean-Claude and Patrick Mimran, who tried their best to reconstruct and vitalize the failing auto company. During their tenure, Lamborghini would see a handful of bright spots, including the emergence of the legendary Countach LP5000 Quattro Valvole. By the end of their run, the Swiss brothers sold the company for several times the amount they paid for it, becoming the only owners of Lamborghini to ever make money owning the company at the time. After the Mimran years, Lamborghini fell under Chrysler. While this too would eventually end in failure, this era brought about one of the most iconic vehicles of all time. The successor to the Countach, the legendary Diablo. Unveiled in January 21, 1990, the Diablo was, at the time, the fastest production vehicle in the world. This iconic car became a staple on the bedroom walls of teenage boys everywhere, and is classically featured in the Need for Speed video game franchise. Today, Lamborghini finds itself under German ownership, housed under the Audi banner overseen by Volkswagen. While its history has been full of turmoil, to the average car enthusiast, they have been nothing but a true icon, a symbol of brash, carefree, ballsy attitude. Recent history has also proven that the company's best days may be yet to come. In 2019, the company released its first ever hybrid vehicle, Sian FKP37, currently one of the highest performing Lamborghini models ever produced. That same spirit of grit, combined with innovative creativity born nearly a century ago in the countryside of northern Italy, revs on even to this day, inspiring the dreams of car enthusiasts young and old to reach for the impossible. Thank you for watching. We're good company, and if you think we've earned it, we'd love to gain your subscription. While you're at it, why not hit that like button and the bell icon so you don't miss our future stuff. If you have friends you think would like our content, share this on social media. We got some great company stories to tell you about, and we can't wait to bring it all to you at the same time next Monday. Cheers, and we'll see you guys next week.